Okay, let's start. Let me share my screen and please let me know when you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Not at the moment.
Yes, Muhammad.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
now,
Yes.
now.
Great,
All right. I see your
great,
screen.
thank you. Okay, so as we usually, we will have a quick introduction about the community. It's also a great opportunity to share the updates and what's new, what is the change. So it is not just the same, as usual. So first, let me go with, again, very quick about the code of conduct. So all sessions are recorded and will be published on YouTube and Facebook. So if you don't like to be recorded, I will kindly ask you to leave the session. Please mic mute all the time. Just speak when you turn on when you speak and turn it off immediately when you stop. The rest of the code of conduct, please review that on the GitHub. For what is DevOps vision for people that just joined today to just get an overview about that. DevOps vision is an open source initiative that aims to help people all over the globe to learn in DevOps and cloud. So we provide different activities. Some of them, for example, like live sessions, like today. We also providing mentoring people to develop their career, in either in their company or a new companies. We also work on open source projects and providing studying groups and job, recommendation and references. And all of that is for free. So I'm really happy to announce the leadership team for the community, which joining with me Ahmed Baha and Muhammad Al Qassas. So Ahmed Baha is a computer science professor, computer science and regional director, Microsoft MVP for more than 13 years. He is an associate professor in computer science for several universities, taught thousands of students and people all over the globe. Ahmed, one of the very special technical lead worldwide. He delivered many sessions in international conferences, and one of them, and even some of them in Microsoft HQ in Seattle, Redmond. Mohammed Al Qassas is a fellow MVP who has been ranked the first or the top contributor globally on Stack Exchange and Stack Overflow in 2 years in a row. He has been elected by the community worldwide to be the first Stack Exchange moderator. Also, he is a Microsoft TechNet Wiki judge and TechNet Guru. El Qassas has helped millions of people through Stack Exchange and the Stack Overflow and Wiki and blogs. So to just give you again, we really appreciate questions and people asking, but I'm still receiving many questions, the same repeating question again and again. This is why there is a prerequisite usually to start again, of course, all questions are welcome, but try to do your homework first. Try to do your part first. So please read the code of conduct and the fact, and it will answer most of the question will be answered there. Try to go, if you have a technical question, try to go for the YouTube channel and search for your topic. Maybe you will find the answer there. And of course, if you're talking about the open source project, just go for the repo, download the project, run the project before you asking, for example, how to download, where I download, or so on. Okay, your really support really appreciated about all the activities. Okay, so we have some links. Of course, you can get either GitHub or the domain or for the page. And for a quick introduction about what is EasyApp, EasyApp is a very small application developed in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, which we will using as an end-to-end to implement the practices. So it's learn by doing. So we can go through all the activities of the DevOps as an end-to-end, including plan, all the activities in the plan, like how to do the Kanban board, how to do the Scrum, all of that, including the dev and test, the branch and merging, version control, versioning the application, testing, release, load testing, and all of that, even the monitoring and feedback. So open source inspiration. I just share with you one really a good story about inspiration. WordPress started with a bit of code, with a single bit of code, with a few people you can count them on your hand, and now it's become the largest self-hosted plugin. So yes, we would like, we have dreamed that we could reach that, of course, with your help. If you would like to learn by doing an end-to-end, so come and join us in our community. Again, we are looking to build more community champions that, it's not only us, we can, part of the mentoring, for example, we help people to become an MVP. So yes, so we try to do that. I would like to say big thank you for our contributors, Wajih and Muhammad Taha, for their great contribution. I really appreciate that so much, and I'm looking forward for more contribution from them and also from new people as well. So really thank you so much, Wajih and Muhammad. For numbers and surveys, again, we start increasing our number. We really increased so we have more than 900 registered from more than 40 countries. I'm not, I stopped the count anymore. So, and again, there is importance of the networking, and I'm trying to using that network so we can help each other about many things. So again, keeping connected, so you can get the benefit of that. We will recommend jobs. We will try to help, each other by having a community of practices, sharing the best practices among others, and so on. So please keep connected. It's very important for everyone. And we have different groups. I will recommend it to read the code of conduct and the facts, so to answer all the question about that. We also have exam voucher and Azure subscription. We will provide that. Some of them already provided exam vouchers. Upcoming session alert. Next week, we have an open source session. Just get some question, understanding what is the status, what is the plan, to just, having an open discussion about that. So again, your support is really appreciated. So let me start by our session for today. Okay, so today I'm talking about the AZ-400 tips and tricks with a final revision. Okay, so quick introduction about me. I'm Muhammad Radwan, Microsoft MVP. I have been doing software development for more than 17 years now. I started with classic ASP before the .NET and then moved to different tools and technologies and roles, relocated multiple times for different countries, eventually in the UK. I helped more than 50 enterprise customers, some of them from the Fortune 500. I participated in the community and I have authored many guides, framework, open source, which published on GitHub, Azure Marketplace, and so on. In my YouTube channel, I have many videos which I'm sure they will help you to understand many technical topics. I presented many sessions in local, international, and regional events in many countries. And I got the chance and the opportunities to work on different project size, culture as well. Okay, so our agenda today. Okay, this is a mistake. So the first is I will start by exam topics area and new updates. There is a new update, and I think I will start by focusing on that. And then we will go about, again, AZ-400 is a very very large topic. So, and this is, by the way, why when you look at, for example, when you look at the provided, for example, courses or training for exam AZ-400, you will find like it's very large exam. So because it's cover really many areas. So, and again, I'm not going to cover all the exam. I'm just, teaching you or giving you the tips that if you understand, you can pass the exam, easily, or how to how to study that. So I will take just some samples from that parts, and then once you understand, you can understand how to study or how to prepare them. So my examples, I will take the Azure DevOps CLI, command line interface. I will also talk about the migrating source code, and then Git branch and merge strategy, security WhiteSource, and then Azure Pipelines Project Agent Pool, VS Organization Agent Pool. And then talking about the agent, Azure Pipeline Services, VS.Interactive. Then the last tips and the tricks and the advices. Okay, so exam topics and area. The current exam, we have 7 areas with different, percentage for each area. And there is very good courses released, like 7 courses, and each course, it's it's a separate and an independent course for each area. So, and this is actually the courses that I used to prepare my exam when I was taking my exam. But unfortunately, these courses was it was an open source, by the way, but it is not available anymore. The reason behind that, because there is new changes and also some arrangement between edX and Microsoft Learning. I'm not going to discuss these details about how they are arranging that, but this courses is not available anymore. But this is the current. So there is a new update starting from 15th of June, and the new update, it will change the areas. So we have, for example, develop an instrumentation strategy, develop a site reliability engineer. We have also developed security and compliance plan, manage source control, facilitating communication and collaboration, define and implementing continuous integration, and define and implementing continuous delivery and release pipeline. So this is the new 7 area. If I'm telling you, if we're looking, for example, on these 3 areas, and this is the list 3 areas that has a change, but for the rest, sorry, there is a mic open. Is there any question? Okay, so for just remember, so yes, this is the list areas that has a change or have changes, but for the other areas it's completely new. And some, I will not say 100 new, but not completely, but I will say, like, there are really, many changes. That this is why, from my point of view, the change around 60 to 70% after June 15. So our topics today, or our tips and the tricks, it will cover the current exam, not the update after June of 15, because again, it's a new topics. There is no courses yet for that. So, you just need to study that, and even for that part. But there is no advices yet for that part. The good news that some parts,
Just question.
yeah, sure, Waji, right?
Yes, sorry.
No problem.
What is the difference about the red color and the blue color?
The red, it has less changes. So the red has less changes. The blue on the right side, it's almost new. It's clear?
Okay, and in the left side,
It's the left side, it's completely,
topic.
I will say it's like, it's changed.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, thank you.
no problem. So the good news that with, I will say, if you cover the current, it could cover around 30 to 40% of the new exam. But of course, you need to you need to study, for example, 1, 2, 3, 5. These 5 you need to completely to study them. Okay,
Okay. One question, Muhammad, I have pasted in the chat.
sure.
Probably you can answer that.
Yes, the chat is not monitored because so yes, please, you can ask the question.
Okay, see, I have my exam on 19th of June. So considering that the exam questions will be based on the new curriculum or the old one, that means the current one.
I'm expecting that it will be the new updates. Unfortunately, this is what But again, even with sometimes when they release that, they maybe change that. But
Okay.
this announcement, from sometimes. So I'm expecting this will be from. But also, since you book the exam before the 15th of June, maybe you will. I mean, to be honest, you just need to review that maybe with the testing center, because again, yes, you book the exam after the June 15, the exam will be after June 15, but you booked the exam before that. So so this is really, like,
Okay. Actually, I did book it on 13, but I have one or other two exams lined up, so I postponed it. Anyways, I will check. Any
yeah.
particular email address that you can share to which I can drop a note so that they can advise?
Yes. Okay, I can look at that, I
Yeah,
think you
sure.
you just need to not for the even the testing center, but try to reach, for example, usually Microsoft Twitter official accounts.
Okay.
For example, Microsoft Azure, they having a Twitter official account. If you put them, they will reply to you. But this is for Azure. But for learning, I am sure also you will find something like that.
No problem. I will check. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. But again, some of the topics that we will cover today also, it will be a great tips for you. So I'm sure that it will be helpful as well.
Okay.
So yes, example of the exam points. Again, there is many points, and I will just take some examples. And so, for example, the first example I will take, or first point or area, at Azure DevOps CLI, the command line interface. Did anyone work with Azure DevOps CLI before?
Not really. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
CLI.
So you need to
Yes.
go to.
I have worked, to create this virtual machines and on Azure, the CLI.
Yes, but virtual machine on Azure, it is not
That is,
DevOps CLI. It's the
the Azure
Azure
CLI.
CLI.
Yeah. No, actually,
No.
I
Okay.
haven't worked.
Any other?
Yes, it is different. Azure DevOps CLI. It is different of
Azure
Shell
CLI.
CLI.
Yeah.
Ah,
It's an
okay. It's
extension.
not the same.
No,
Ah,
actually, it's an extension for Azure CLI. I will show you that in the demo. So,
okay.
so for example, Azure DevOps CLI. So, for example, how to work with the CLI to automate some of the, because again, once you have that in the command line or the silent mode, it means that you can hook that in a pipeline and automate that. So, for example, how to create an Azure DevOps project, how to, for example, create a work item on Azure DevOps, how to show a work item, existing work items, how to setting the configuration and so on. I will show you that in the demo. Another point is migrating source code. You need to have, understand the migration from TFS VC or Team Foundation version control to Git, and from Git to Git. We will see that as well. Also for Git, you need to understand the commit, the branch, head, merge, non-fast forward and fast forward, squash, clone, and remote. All this command, you need to understand that very well, because there is many question. It will give you a situation, and for example, if you should change the head, or if you should rebase, or so you need to really understand that very well. Also for branch and merge strategy, the same. You need to understand the Git flow very well. Also trunk based development like release flow, for example. And for the security, there is many many question around security. So and one of them, for example, is, I'm talking about an area, is a WhiteSource. But again, you need to cover all. But my example I will give it to you today is a WhiteSource. And also the different, or the the comparison between the Azure Pipeline Project Agent Pool and Organization Agent Pipeline. For example, when you have Azure DevOps Organization, and this is the part I will explain with the slides. So when you have an Azure DevOps organization, and then you create a build pool on the organization level, once you create that, you can install an agent 1, agent 2 for this pool. And in order to do that, you need to be either an admin role on this build pool, or of course the organization admin can do that. But the least permission or privilege is the admin role on this build pool on the organization level. And then on the other side, on the projects level, if you create a build pool on the project level that mapped to the organization pool, so the admin role, of course, can map. Also, the service account role can map that. But if you are not part of the service account role, you can't map the project pool to an organization pool. So the relationship here is one-to-one. And of course, again, you can create a build pool 1 for projects and also assign that. The same for that. You can build, for example, a build pool 2, and once you are an organization admin, you can create the build pool 2 and auto provision the organization pool. For example, if I am the organization admin, then I don't need, or I don't have to create the build pool on the organization level first and then create the build pool on the project and map that. No, I can create the project and you have a checkbox to auto provision the build pool on the organization level. And once you do that, this will be created. But again, you have to be organization admin, because the only one can create the build pool on the organization is the organization admin. And again, all of that will be part of the questions to try to confuse you in the exam. Okay, so for example, yes, this is the organization admin as I explained. And of course, you can install and uninstall. So for example, you need to understand who can install the agent and uninstall the agent. It's either the organization admin or the build pool admin on the organization level. Okay. But the user role, this is the one that can run the build. The admin role on the project, this is the one that can add user or remove user on the project so they can run the build or not. But the admin role on the project, they can't install agent, for example. They can't map the build pool on the project to the build pool on the organization. So the relationship is one-to-one between the project and the project pool and the build pool. So it's always one-to-one. This is why you can't create multiple, for the same build pool. But of course, you can create multiple, relation with other build pools. This is why the relationship between the project with the same project and the same build pool is one-to-one, but with all projects and build pools is many-to-many. And this is to give the ability to that with many projects you can run many, using many build pools. Okay, so, and this is example, for example, if you want to delegate the permission. So if you are an organization admin, then the first step that you will create a build pool for the organization. And then start adding, let's say, the project admin on the admin role on this build pool. Once you add him or her, then they can install or uninstall the agent on this build pool. And also they can create a build pool on the project which map to the organization build pool. Any question? Anyone has any confusion? I know that a little bit this could be, but it's really important. And again, for people that will take the exam, I am sure, if you understand that, this will cover some of the, I will not say questions, but I will say.
I have a question.
Yeah?
Yeah, hi. So what is agent you are defining here? So for accessing the CLI or what?
No, there is no CLI. I'm talking about the build pipeline.
Okay, so what exactly agent 1 and agent 2 you are referring here?
Mohammed, can you just repeat the entire thing again?
Sorry, can you what?
Can you rephrase the entire thing again? I think there is some confusion in this.
Okay, let me first answer the first question. The agent here, this is a build pipeline that you install on the machine. Okay, when you run the build, it use a build agent.
Okay.
We can see those in services.
Sorry?
Can we see those agents in services?
The agent, sorry, I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question?
Can we see those agents on a VM under the services?
Yes, we can see exactly. We can see the agent under the services if the agent is configured as a service. But sometimes the agent could be configured as a process, and this is another point I will cover now.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. So as our friend explains, that you can see the agent on, if you go to, if it is, of course, if the machine is Windows, because again, the agent is cross-platform independent, so you can install on any machine. But if the VM or the machine is Windows, you can go for the Windows services. And if you install or configure the agent as a Windows service, you will see the list of the services, which is the list of the agent. Okay, let me rephrase what I'm talking about. There is a huge difference between build pool on the project level and or on the organization level. That's it. You have to understand the difference between both of them. On the organization level, the only one can create the build pool on the organization level is the organization admin. On the project level, the service account role can create the build pool, but can't map, in order to map, it needs to be an admin on this agent pool. The main idea, who has the permission to create and configure? That's it. Okay, so to just give you a quick overview, who can create the build pool on the organization level? Organization admin.
Organization admin.
Who can install agent on the build pool? Because it's always, if it install agent, it means organization pool. Why? Because you don't install agent on the project pool. Project pool is just, is just a referrer entity. So who can install the agent? There is two role can install the agent, either the organization admin or the build pool admin. So this is a difference you just need to remember about that. Also for yeah,
Mohammed, one question.
sure.
Just to interrupt. What is the purpose? Like what happens when a project admin creates a build pool for a project? Will it have any agents into it, or it has to be mapped by a organization administrator to the actual agents?
No, not mapped by the organization. You can map, as if you are the build pool admin, you can map for yourself. Like
Okay.
for example,
So just a sec. So if I am a project admin and I create a build pool, it won't do anything. Simply, right?
yes,
It won't have
exactly.
any
It's an
purpose.
empty. You can't map to anything.
Yeah. Then build pool administrator or organization administrator has to link them to basically make it work.
Yes, exactly. Or if they want to reduce the overhead, because now they will be like, everyone will ask the admin, I need this build pool, I need. So what they will do is delegating this permission by adding the project admin in the admin role on this build pool.
Hello, Mohammed. This is Arvindan.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I continue just to make sure he understand?
Okay.
Did you understand now?
Yes. One more question
No,
on this. So
let's leave the other question, but to make sure, what I'm trying is, now once you add the person to the admin role on this build pool, it means that they can install build, they can map the project build to this build pool. Okay. I will get to your question, but let's take the other question.
Perfect. I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, my question is the build pool. Any limitation for agent? How many agent we can have in one build pool?
I didn't check that actually, but okay. I have, for example, we have many. The main idea, you have the agent, you have many agents, so you don't wait for the queue. But for example, I remember something around, maybe like 30 or 40. I mean, I remember some project like that, but I didn't check the limitation.
Okay. Next question, actually. The build pool can share the same configuration across the agent? Actually, for example, the build pool, I created 5 agents.
Which build pool you mean? You mean build pool on the organization level?
Yeah, organization level.
Uh-huh.
The thing is, I want to create the agent only for specific subscription in Azure. for example, like the A is the subscription name. I want to create based on the subscription under this pool. So is it possible?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. Can you repeat it or say it in a
The
different way?
build pool, actually, the build pool can share the configuration. That first question is actually it can share the centralized
Yes, and
configuration
the
across
main
the agent.
idea, yes, the build pool can be shared for many projects.
Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
And this is the
What
reason.
about that?
This is the
Yeah.
reason you have the project pool. So you can have many project pools that map to the same organization pool.
Mhm.
This is the way how many projects can work with the same pool. For example, project 1, project 2, project 3, all of them can work with the same build pool on the organization.
Okay. The thing is actually the build pool, under the build pool we have 5 agents. Think about that
Yeah.
actually. In that actually I want to apply the same setting for 5 agents. Is it possible? Settings. For example, I need to install some package on the agent. For the
This is another story, but I will say usually if you have that, the main idea you usually create an image for your agent, for example, and then
okay.
automating the provision of your agent. For example,
Okay.
we don't do like installing the package manually, or usually we automate everything. And
Mhm.
part of that is either automating the creation of the VM with the configuration, or we create a custom image and then provision the agent from the custom image. So we make sure that we have the same configuration for the agents.
So it's like Azure VM agent plugin in Jenkins, right?
Yeah,
Same like that, right?
yeah,
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
no problem. Any
Understood.
other questions?
Uh, just to
Yes.
add a few things with Arvindan was asking.
Yeah.
So Arvindan, to add same configuration, you can basically use Ansible and other tools also, so that you can configure all the machines together in one go as well.
No,
Yeah.
basically, actually, this agent pool, I believe the agent pool for building that project. That thing is not configuration related. I'm right, right? Mohammed Radwan?
Yeah,
It
at the
is.
end, I mean, there is many ways to do everything.
Okay, okay.
The main idea for me is this way is repeatable? Is this way is under source control? Is this way, is I can track that? There is many other, talking about how to, I don't like to say best practices, but I say like, how to can have that with better, practices.
Okay, okay, fine. So basically, actually, agent is where that pipeline going to execute.
Exactly.
Okay.
And of course, you can even have more agent on the same machine. Usually, you configure agent per virtual processor. So, for example, if your VM has four vCPU, then you can configure V. But of course, you will have some how to say that you will have some issues in the I/O, because if you're using the same hard disk, for example. So again, there is many consideration when you configure that.
So that here my question, sorry, so
No problem.
occupying the question here, that the agent in some terms of only VM, we can use the container Docker for the agent. Is it possible?
Yes.
For it's possible, right?
It's
Okay.
actually, I didn't to configure a Docker container but yes, you can use also, because when you look at Microsoft, for example, hosted agent, there is hosted agent on hosted on a Docker. So I'm expecting I configure that, but I'm not sure also about. So I will say probably yes, to make sure my
Okay.
answer is correct.
Okay. Sure, sure. Thank you.
No problem.
I think it is possible to use Docker, but you will face an issue if you are building Docker in Docker.
Yes, good point. Yeah,
Okay.
good
So
point.
we can't build the inside the Docker, right?
Yes.
Build.
No, you can build, but if you the artifacts of your CI build pipeline is a Docker image, there is
Okay.
some limitation if you need to build inside Docker itself.
I think it's a very good point. Yeah.
Yes.
For that case, I can give a solution. We can use Azure Container Registry task, so we can build from the remote.
Yeah. Yeah. There is always a solution. This is why I usually say the experiment is all about doing, not. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So Mohammed, my question is, I mean, bit off topic, which is very specific to the exam, AZ-400.
Yeah.
So, I mean, does it have labs? I mean, there has been thoughts.
Yes, if you go for the exam very soon, you will find this conversation was very useful to you. I'm sure that.
So it does have labs, right?
Actually, the labs fail many times, so they cancel the labs, but they bring it back and then they cancel. So I'm not sure what is the latest status for this part.
Okay. Fine.
Okay, so
Just one question, Mohammed.
yeah, sure, Raji.
Build on the fly.
Yeah.
So we can make a design of build a pipeline without build a pool organization, just with build a pool project, or we can't put. Okay.
Because once you create a build pool on the project, it needs to be mapped to the actual, just think at the build pool on the organization. This is the actual build, but the build pool on the project, this is just like, this is a facade, the design pattern. This is like an
empty
exactly
empty pack.
exactly it just to so you can have this entity, so you can remember, yes, I have this, so it's just a way to map.
Yeah, just to simplify the design. Okay.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so the difference between the interactive and the services, for example, our friend that he said that you can go for the Windows service to see the service. Yes, if you configure the service organization pool, this if you configure the service as a service, so yes, if you go for the Windows service, you will find them, and you usually configure that because you want to of course it means that it doesn't require this agent, it doesn't require to run any UI automation, for example. Also, it will appear in the Windows service as we explained. The service login also, it will be independent from the one that login. So for example, if you log in the machine, the service can log in with other credentials. And of course, also it has some for example, if the service crash, for example, it can restart itself. So yes, this is what, when the service, but yes, recover mode. So for example, when we're talking about the interactive mode, it means that you need to run a UI automation. And in this case, the agent will not appear in the Windows services because it's a process. So you will find them in the process in the task manager. It can also run non-active, so it can work post-build. But the problem here, because it's process, if it's crashed, that's it. So doesn't run and appear in the Windows service, and it appear like a task management. The process login using the same account, of course, because you usually log in and run the service, so it will usually using the same credentials. There is some configuration to configure the process to use a different credentials, which of course save this credential encrypted on the machine, so you can have that. But it's still a process which can, if it's crashed, it means that so it is not reliable for a build, like the main idea. You need to understand the difference between a service and interactive. Okay, so before we're talking about recommended video, let me go for the area. So what I'm trying to tell you here, if you go for this is the post that I have all the list of the exam. And if you can cover all the points here, and again, what I'm telling you here is you just can cover each point here, and I'm sure you will pass the exam. If you can make that, you will. I can guarantee that you will pass the exam. The main idea here is that I created this post. I was creating this post when I was studying, and then after my exam, I I started improving that, including the area in the exam. So what I'm telling you here, again, this, if you can cover all these points, you will pass the exam. So let me take, for example, here in this part, I will talking about the Azure DevOps CLI. So let's talk these parts. Okay, let me first open the CMD. And let me open so for example, let me show you here my projects. So this is the current project I have. So for example, if now I open my CMD. So first, in order to install the Azure DevOps CLI, first I need to install Azure CLI. So Azure CLI must be installed first, and then install the extension of the DevOps CLI. So just if you type Azure or AZ, it will load all the command. So as you can see, the Azure CLI is installed. So once this installed, I can install Azure extension. And then add name Azure DevOps. This is if the extension is not installed. Once the extension is installed, I can say AZ DevOps. Then if it's return, it is the command can understand that it means it can work. So as you can see, it's working now. So the first step, I just need to log in. For example, using Azure DevOps login, so I can log in. I can also using a path, so I will using a path here. So let me double. I will create a path here. So new token, full privilege. I don't do that in reality in production. This is just for demo. So let's say demo, and I will revoke that after our session. So now I copy the token. So now I log in. So let's now navigate back here. So for example, let's say for example, create a project. So AZ DevOps project, create, name here, just name AZ-400, and let's say process agile org dev dot session. Let me double check Azure DevOps Project. Yes, I hope. So as you can see, this command will create the project. But again, you need also to understand error, unrecognized argument, process, agile, process. Okay, it's typo. This is usually my problem when I have process. Not. So once you can work with the silent mode, it means that you can hook that in the pipeline, and this is the beauty of the automation. So this will create a project on Azure DevOps. So as you can see, the project created, and this is the return value. So for example, if I refresh now, we can see here our project created, AZ-400, and we can see that now I have Agile. So let's navigate now to AZ-400, for example, and let's go to the backlog. So let's create a work item. We can see that. So easy port, and then create work item, create. It should be title. Yes, title. Let's say hello Azure DevOps CLI. Type is user story. Organization is, let me copy the organization. I'm afraid maybe I will type it because usually I do that. ED, what's wrong? ED, okay. It's easy, yeah. Some of the feedback is asked me for live demo. Did you know why I don't prefer the live demo? Yes, anyway, it's just I get confused when people look at me when I type my code. Keyboard is not in the easy. Oh, what? I can't remember. Yeah, I remember. I think it's boards, not board.
Boards. Yeah, boards.
Project must be specified. Oh, I didn't specify the project. Okay, thank you. So here, project, it will be what? AZ-400. So yes, this should create a user story on our backlog here. So yes, as you can see, the work item created. I can also retrieve that work item. For example, if I say easy boards work item show ID, it is 474474. So I can show, I can retrieve the information. Organization must be specified. Okay. Yes. Org. Maybe the project as well. If it is the same, but yes, the token work with. Anyway, as you can see, now I retrieved the work items with all data. So as you can see, so if we get back, so we cover this part. So let's go for, and before we moving, let me also tell you something. For this part, I develop an extension on this extension. So for example, if you go for Azure DevOps Marketplace, I develop a tool called recycling license tool. This is a command line that uses command line, and it's published on Azure DevOps Marketplace. And to just give you a quick idea what this tool does, because it's really, I get very good feedback about the tool. The main idea of this tool is to remove, I was working a project with thousands of users and many people joining, and rolled off from the project every day because it's a global company. So, and this tool will remove the people from the project if they, for example, exceeded 2 months, they don't use the project. For example, just imagine that if you want to remove uh, 10,000 users from Azure DevOps, if you want to down license from for example from Basic or Visual Studio to stakeholders, for example, or stakeholders. So if you're doing that manually, or if you're doing, but with this tool you can configure that and it will do that for you. Okay, so if we get back here again, we cover that. So let's take another point, TFVC to Git. If we look at that, we need to cover this part. Let's go for repos, for example, and you can see here you need to understand that from from the UI. So if I say, for example, import repository, and you can see here a TFSVC. So you can import the TFSVC to Git using the UI, but it has limitation. And you really need to understand the limitation, because in the exam it will try to confuse you. Like, for example, they will give you the scenario and ask you which tool and which way. So for example, the limitation here, it's all about the days. So it's here you can only import 180 days. Let me show you that. So for example, if you look here, yes, can you see here? So the main idea, you can use the UI to just get a 6 months of history. And remember always that the TFVC or virtual control is all about, it's completely different. And the main idea of migration is to change the form of TFVC to Git. So by default, this will be only for 6 months. If you require more, it means you need to use another tool. The other tool is an open source on GitHub called GitTFS. So let me show you the tool on GitHub. So this is the tools on GitHub, which called GitTFS. This is if you require to move more than 180 days and how to work with that. This is for TFSVC to Git. Now we cover this point. Let's talk about the other point, Git to Git. So Git to Git, you can have two options, or so let me double. So for Git to Git, it is the same. You can also import repository from here. As you can see, you just get import because it's a Git, so it's very easy. This is from the UI. If you want to do that from the command line, you can use the mirror, Git mirror. So you can use Git mirror command, which mirrors the repository. And this is how to use Git mirror. So this is, for example, for these parts. So as you can see, you take every point and understand how to cover that.
The question is, I'm from Nayan from India. The question is, the Git clone and the Git mirror is the same, or is it different?
Yes. No, Git clone. No, Git clone. It's mean that you just clone that here, but mirror just to mirror the repository. They are very similar, but in order, to have all the changes, which including all to reflect the changes. So the main idea of Git mirror is to just mirror the repository, not just having an instance of that.
Okay.
Yes, at the end.
Hi, Mohammed.
Yeah.
My question is there any way to transfer the history from Git to TFVC like the one we have for the Git to TFVC?
You want to move from Git to TFVC?
No, I just want to move the data, move the history from TFVC to Git. sorry, from Git to TFVC.
From Git to TFSVC. I think also Git to TFS can do that. I'm not sure, but I think because the main idea of this tool is two ways moving, but I'm not sure. Uh, if you ask about the exam, it is I don't think it's yes. I'm not sure if we can use this tool, but maybe we can. I didn't have a situation, to be honest. I didn't have a situation before, so I didn't check that.
Like I have used this tool to transfer the history from TFVC to Git, but this just a scenario to transfer the history from, like, if I have all the data in the Git and I just want to transfer the history to TFVC.
Okay, but let me tell you something. I work with many projects migrating TFSVC, and because since TFSVC is become obsolete now, I'm not expecting that there is, for example, usually if I get back 7 years ago, for example, there is many open source tools, people in the community, there is many supporting for migration and transformation. But now, I'm not expecting to find that even. So, but I think commercially, I'm expecting to find, like, for example, Ops Hub, for example, some other also. But for an open source or a way, I'm not sure about that.
Muhammad, the Git TFS is a two-way.
Yes. Okay. Great.
So you can move from
Yes. This is what
TFS
I
and
expected, but I
yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah.
And once you open the branches, you will see two remote branches, one for the Git on DevOps and the other one for the TFS.
Yes. Yeah. This is what I expected because it was this repo was created some times ago and it was there, so I was expecting that, but I didn't want to confirm or so. Yes. Great.
Actually, I moved one last week, so I just need
Yes, but
tell
as
the
I
guys and
explained,
contribute.
for
It's
me
two-way.
usually I recommend all projects to migrate from TFSVC to Git because again TFSVC considered as an obsolete technology.
Yeah.
You know, I will say even for 3 years, 3 years before 3 years, even I moved them because usually all new feature was not introduced in TFSVC. But now, even now, you know, it's like why you do that? But
Yeah.
of course, working with Git means you can work with anything. You can work with GitLab, GitHub.
Yes.
So it's a cross-platform. There is many things. So, but of course, I completely understand that every project has a situation and has circumstances. This is why, I don't say that this is the we have to do that. No, it's always based on the project constraints. Okay, so this is for migrating Git. Again, all what we cover now for people that will take the exam, they will find it very useful, and you will remember me. I'm sure you will, because again, there is questions about that. Okay, let me cover another part, which is now we cover the Git. Let's talk about Git flow, for example. So to Git flow, we can go, for example, to understand Git flow. So here, for example, there is a very good tool for Git flow. Just show the animated of Git flow. For example, this is very nice. For example, if you create a feature branch, you have a commit, and then create another feature branch, commit, then merge here. And then let's say, for example, you create a hotfix, make a commit. So this is just, to make sure that you understand exactly what is the Git flow, how it's work, because there is some question around giving you scenario. You can use this tool. There is also a trunk-based development. You also need to understand that. For example, if you go for trunk-based development and release flow, which is the strategy of Microsoft Azure DevOps, which is a trunk-based development strategy. So you need to understand that as well. Another part, and again, so this part, as you can see, cover TFS Git and cover yes, using Git mirror. So as you can see, I'm covering each part to understand that. Git here, you need to understand all of that. And in order to understand all the different here, there is also many very good websites. For example, if you go for Git, you can see here, this is to animate the Git commands, so you can see that. For example, this is the merge, no fast forward. And this is, so another one. This is also very nice to explain the idea. And also you can go for here if you want to practice your hand. Let me show you, for example, here. Let's say you can commit. So you can see that you make a change, you do the commit. You can also create branch, get branch 1. So now I created a branch, for example. And remember, you need to check out the branch before. Can you see the asterisk here, which means that this is the head? So for example, if I commit now before the checkout, which is the asterisk place, it means that all my commit will go for this, which is the master. So for example, if I say get commit, so as you can see, it will be inside the master. But in order to commit my changes in the branch, I need to check out the branch. So if I say get check out branch 1, you can see now the asterisk or the head moved to the branch 1. So now if I get commit any change, so as you can see, I have many changes in the branch 1. You need also to understand, all of that. For example, how to cherry picks, for example. Let's say, for example, I want to merge the changes from the branch 1 in the master. So for example, I need to get check out master. So now I'm in the master. If I say now get merge, let's move that, branch 1, this will take all the changes in branch 1. But since, let's say I need a cherry pick, I need to take some changes and leave the others. So instead of merge, I need to cherry pick. Let's say I will take the change C8 and C9, the commit number 8 and number 9. So this means I will only pick that as a cherry pick. And as you can see, I moved only this commit, so I cherry pick that. So you need to understand that and visualizing that to yourself so you can remember that. You need also to understand how to move the head, for example. So let's say get check out, let's say branch 1. So as you can see, the head in branch 1, I can detach the head from the branch 1 by say get check out C11. So now I detach the head from the branch. I can move the head, get check out C8. So as you can see, I move the head in another place. And also I can commit here. But of course, this will be in the air, because all these changes is not in a branch. So again, if you look at, you need to review, understand all of that. This is the git flow and git branch. So as you can see, we review many tasks. Maybe the time will not enough to, to continue other examples. But again, what I'm trying to explain you, again, if you review all of that points and make sure you understand that, I'm sure you will, you will pass the exam. This is exactly what I'm trying to say. Also, if you want, I have these videos which is cover many of what I explained to you. For example, let's say, for example, for Git, for example, working with this visualization, you can use this video. For example, the Azure Agent Pool that I explained to you with the example, with the demo, you can watch this video. For security, which is there is no time to explain that, all security and Black Duck, WhiteSource, vulnerabilities, common vulnerability exposure, all of that will be in this video. For Kubernetes, CI/CD, because also this is part of the exam, you will find in this video. For working with Docker, multi-stage building, Docker Compose, you will find in these post videos. And this is for the understanding how to measure the DevOps, like lead time, cycle time, and all of that. You will find them in these videos. And this is also for running the pipeline. So this is the videos for that. Again, yes, there is a session coming for next week talking about open source. And don't forget about the activities that we do in DevOps Vision. And your support is really appreciated. Any question and answer? Sorry, question.
Mohammed, if you please show up one simple demonstration, the first slide that we are presenting today, the difference between hosted pool and Microsoft Agents. I was a bit confusing on that. So if you please go to DevOps portal.
Yes, let me show you that. Okay.
Yeah,
so
please.
for example, we created our project AZ-400, right? So let's use this project. Okay, so this is the project setting. No, I need the organization settings. So now I'm on the organization settings. So if I go for the agent pool, I don't have any agent pool, right? So what I will do is add agent pool. I will do that so it can be manual for you. So now I have my agent pool on the organization, okay? If I if I went now to the project settings, I don't have that, right? So in order to install any agent in this agent pool, I need to be at least, of course, as an organization admin, I can do anything, okay? But in order to install agent for this agent pool, I need to add people, let's say. As you can see, I have the administrator. So only the organization administrator role can install agent. The service account can't install agent, but they can map the project pool to the organization pool. Okay. So now I went here. This is the project pool. So I can add pool, new or existing. Let's say new, self-hosted. If it is new, it means that I can create an organization pool while I'm creating that. But of course, it's existing. So as you can see, it can display here. If I am not in the admin pool of the organization pool, I can't map that. If I'm not in the service account, I can't map that. If that's it. And of course, for creating new, that will create an organization pool on the organization. I need to be an organization, having organization permission. That's it. It's clear?
Yes, very clear.
Yes. Please, I would like to that you let me share with you it's very important. The survey, the feedback about the session, because also I would like to know the. I will leave it here. So during any question. So I left the feedback surveys in the chat. So please, when you complete, I would really appreciate if you can leave your feedback. Okay, any other questions?
I have another question.
Sure.
How much Azure knowledge it will help to pass the DevOps exam? Because I'm talking about Azure portal, not DevOps portal. So how much Azure knowledge should have to go to have your pass the DevOps exam? Because there are a lot of services are there, so it's not
Yes,
possible to everyone to cover all of them.
for
So
the current exam, I will say yeah, it require fair knowledge in Azure DevOps, not in Azure. But actually, even the current exam, it's required that you understand what's happening around you. Because, for example, it asks for containerization, it asks for security and compliance, it asks for, so it is not, again, it's not Azure DevOps as a tool or a platform. It's just understanding the process and, so because again, this is why you will find like there is many areas, so but for Azure, no, it is not that covering in Azure. The new exam, actually, it is more about covering. This is why if you found, for example, the new part is site reliability engineer. It's all about, for example, analysis, the how to instrumentation for the application and how, and it is more Azure, not Azure DevOps. I mean, for the new exam, it's add more skills or more skills measured will be in Azure. This is why, from my point of view, the new exam moving to more about site reliability engineer. Okay, any other questions?
I have one question, Mohammed.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to know, being a developer, let's say I'm working in the .NET technology. So what do you feel like? Which certification I should do to add up my skill set?
Okay, so again, from my point of view, certificate is always a plus. Is not a destination, like it is not like I usually use certificate to plus your skills and it to help you what to study and but again, so the main point for being a DevOps, or we spend 1 or 2 sessions talking about the roadmap for being a DevOps and how the certificate for doing that. But in general, I will say you just need to keep your hands on, working with different areas and understand that DevOps is not just an automation, it's not just a pipeline. You need to understand an end-to-end process and practices, and keep your hands not only for the pipeline but for the project management, for unit testing, um, for configuration, infrastructure. So it's all about end to end. I would recommend it look at some of the previous sessions that we run, and then you will find many good answer for your questions.
Okay, thank you.
No problem, it's my pleasure. Any other
yes,
questions?
Muhammad, yes, I shared a link that you are talking about the new exam, that new exam outline. So I can see that they are talking about the Azure Active Directories, which is bit administrative stuff. So if you talk about new exam outlines, so it as I just read the documents, they are actually moving to Azure DevOps to Azure. So people should have bit knowledge about the Azure as well.
Yeah,
It's
yes,
not like that.
yes, that's right.
Yes.
This is exactly what I'm saying, that the new exam is moving more about Azure. And also the Azure Active Directory, because the compliance. because this is the way that you can, for example, how you can guarantee or securing that this will not be accessed by anyone. So it is more about important to manage the, the compliance. This is why they put the Azure Active Directory. So yes, definitely the new exam moving more for, but again, it is not Azure only, no. It's cover, but I will say yes, they increase the part of the knowledge of Azure.
Thanks, Mohammed.
No problem, it's my pleasure. Any other questions? Okay, great. So thanks again for joining, and I will wait for your feedback, and looking forward for other sessions and your contribution, of course, as on the open source project. And so thank you.
Thanks, Mohammed. It was a nice session.
Thank you, Mohammed.
Thank you, Mohammed.
Thanks,
Thank
Mohammed.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mohammed, so much.
Thank
Thank you.
Thanks, Mohammed.
Thank you.